What is up, guys? This is DT Ninja here to bring you my latest Bleach theory on Juha and the Soul King, father and son. Yes, guys. Okay, so this is a theory that I came up with about how this world became disrupted. Okay, how the Hueco Mundo. So I did this theory a while ago that I believed, part of the Soul King was Baragon, and that was an interesting theory, but obviously we're not seeing anything from Hueco Mundo, from Kubo, so obviously that's thrown out the window. That was just, something, the king of all, the king of all hollows. But anyways, let's get on to my new theory. This is the Soul King and his son Juha, okay, or Yuach. Now, I believe, this is my theory, that the Soul King's eyes were granted to Juha. Now, Juha has the ability to see past, present, and future. Okay, he has 3 eyes. Okay, now the Soul King has 4 eyes. Okay, now tell me, how does two people able to see the past, present, and future? It doesn't make any sense to me at all how 2 people, father and son, are able to both do this, unless their powers are connected. Okay, and I'll get to that. So now my theory is that basically it was a world and they were all together. Okay, there was no division, everything was balanced, everything was maintained. The Soul King was there to, maintain the balance of souls. Okay, dead soul, people that die, the souls, they go to the Soul King, and that is his purpose. Okay, so here's my thinking, that for some reason, I don't know why, he decided to create Juha. Okay, this child. Now, in the manga, okay, we see he is a nobody, right? He had nothing, okay? So he started out deaf, he started out blind, he couldn't even talk. But people around him, which is probably, a fabrication, but anyway, the point is, the story is told by Haschwaltz, okay? The story is told by Haschwaltz. It's not told by Juha himself. He's sleeping, alright? So the point is, if someone is telling a story of someone else's life, there's a possibility for someone, to change a little things, right? Change things. So it might not be 100% correct. It might be altered in a way that Juha wanted to sound, what he wanted to tell him. Okay, what if the real truth is different? What if the real truth is that the Soul King, and let me show you. For instance, here's the baby Juha. Okay, he had nobody, and all these people, looked at him, and eventually, they gave him things, right? They gained things from them. Okay. And this is when he grows up, okay? So you can see, there's nothing really special about him, he's just a young kid there. But, okay? So here's my theory here. So the Soul King created this child, okay? And instead of, having all the souls come to him, he makes them come to Juha. And Juha has this ability to absorb the souls, right? We already know this. So this is possibly how he gained all these abilities, how to speak, how to, all these different abilities. Now, the thing is, once he grew up, okay, he was more mature, and he got around to asking his father. Maybe he asked his father, can I see through your eyes? Okay, he wants to see just like his father. Maybe I'm not exactly sure why he would do this, but he wanted to, he was curious, okay? He's curious what his father saw through those eyes. And so his father granted him a temporary, power, okay? Temporary power. He lent him part of his power, okay? But the thing is, when something like this happens, there's a potential, especially for a creation, to overpower the creator. Okay, so this is what happened. I think that Juha actually absorbed some of the Soul King's power and took almost all of the eye power. Now, let's say he took enough, like 3 of those eyes. Now, just because he took 3 eyes, I'm not saying, he only has 1 eye. I'm just saying the power within those eyes have been transferred to Juha. Now that he has those powers, he actually chose to see into the past, okay? Because that is one of the powers of the eyes, okay? So he goes into the past and he notices, I was nothing to begin with. I was, this helpless child. What is this, And he realizes that, the souls are responsible for, giving him life. So, he's really shocked. So then, instead of going into the past, after seeing the past, he goes into the future, okay? Because he thinks, okay, maybe my future is better. So he goes into the future, and what does he see? He sees the Soul King's right hand, the assassination squad, the Gote 13. They're taking out Quincy's. Apparently, these are his flesh and blood, and he just sees all this, and he's just another disappointment. He's shocked. He can't believe it. He's like, nothing with these powers is like granting me, any type of fulfillment, any happiness at all. So the thing is, even after this power, Juha has taken the power from the Soul King. So I think this is what happened. He ran away. Juha ran away, and the Soul King is left without his original power. So now that Juha is the one that can take the souls, he can choose, what to do with them. He can absorb them if he wants, or, he can leave them alone. He's not responsible for them anymore. So now that the souls are supposed to come to the Soul King, maybe some of them are allowed to come, but others are left alone. And these turn into hollows. Eventually, the ones that Juha leaves alone, they turn into hollows. And because the Soul King doesn't have all his powers, that's why they become hollows. Okay? And Juha neglects, absorbing them. So, yeah, they become hollows. And this is where Hueco Mundo comes into play. That's how I think Hueco Mundo was made in the first place. Now, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, or if I'm not making any sense, please tell me, because I'm just having fun here talking to you guys. But anyways, that is how I think it happened. Now, move forward, and we have the Soul King. I think that he basically had Yama, come to him, and he gave some of his powers to Yamaji. Okay, he gave some of the, his powers to Yamaji, and he instructed him to take out the Quincy. Okay, he take out the Quincy. They have disrupted the balance of order, the order of things. Everything is out of whack. Now Hueco Mundo is open. Now everything is going crazy. So now we have all this imbalance, and now the Quincy are supposed to be taken out. And now we have Yamaji who's fighting Juha, and finally, this is where it happened 1,000 years ago. I think that the power that the Soul King gave him was to seal those eyes of the Soul King. Now, if that is true, that would make sense, because if this is a spell, they awakened on the Soul King's power, okay? So this is not Juha waking up. This is the Soul King's power losing its edge, okay? It had so much power that it sealed it for that long. It sealed it for almost 1,000 years. So the Soul King gave Yamaji the power. Yamaji, he sealed him, okay? Now, he could have killed him, right? He probably could have killed him, but he chose to seal him because that's what the Soul King wanted. Okay, he's his flesh and blood, so he wanted him to seal him. You know, he wanted a counterattack. Okay, because once he wakes up, he knew that the first thing he would come after is him. Because one, he knows that he was the one that probably, you know, sealed him, possibly. You know, he can see into the future now. And two, yeah, he just hates him for the fact that he was nothing to begin with. He hates the fact that everything he, you know, showed him was just disappointment and hatred towards him. So he hates the Soul King for that reason. And that is why I believe Juha is fighting this war against, you know, the Soul King and wants to destroy the world. That is my feeling. But if you guys have a different feeling, if you guys have a different theory, please let me know, because I want to know your thoughts on what you guys think happened 1,000 years ago, because we have to get that backstory, right? We have to know what happened 1,000 years ago. But that's what I think happened. I think, you know, Juha, you know, became power hungry, okay? He absorbed too much of his father's power, and, you know, he ran away, okay? And he, you know, created the Quincy, and this is where the imbalance happened and the disruption of, you know, all order of things. So, and that is where we are. So the Soul King then made a countermeasure and offered part of his body to certain things, right? To the Eye of the Divine, right? The Eye of the Divine, the Mimihagi-sama, which then became Ukitake. So then probably Aizen, because he probably left the Hogoku for someone to find. So all these things are countermeasures to go against his own son. So the real question is, why did the Soul King make a son to begin with? Why? That is a real question we should answer. So I hope you guys enjoyed my theory video, and as always, have an awesome day.